welcome back to another episode of TinoTalks. Today's guest, we have Miguel Ochoa. Round of applause in the edit. Round of applause in the edit. Woo!
Hello, how's it going?
Shit, how you feeling today? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. Feeling good. I woke up and shit, just, did my regular thing. I ain't got work today, so
Blessing today. MLK Day today.
I'm okay
So,
day today.
federal holiday.
Yeah.
Shout out MLK.
Shout out to this one black girl that I know. I love you.
Okay. Miguel got a little crush on a little black girl.
No,
Shout out her.
she's just a friend. She's
Oh,
just a
okay.
homie. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So got a lot of music coming up. You've been working hard past year.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's time to, start slow rolling. Speak about what you got coming up.
Yeah.
New project coming out and all that.
Yeah. No, I got this new project coming out on the 27th of January, 2026. It's called De la Toscana. 6 songs, all produced, written, recorded by me. I started it back in September 2025. So it has been like about a couple months. Just now finishing up, just gonna get the last few songs mixed and then be ready for everybody to hear and whatnot.
You said you started in September?
Yeah, it started in September. Yeah.
Okay, so where was like the concept of this album birth? Like when did you know like this is like when did you come up with the name and the whole aesthetic and the sound, and when did it start really taking form, and
Yeah.
what was that process like?
Yeah. I would say the birth, the start of everything, just the whole idea of it. It wasn't even I didn't have the idea in mind. It was just a song. It was the second song off the project called Blue Magic. And I just, I did my regular shit, just made the beat. I was just thinking it was gonna be another song, but at the time I was really just going through, this just love shit, you be getting into shit with, different people, and whatnot. And, that I think that's really where it started, coming out from, and, just writing lyrics about what I felt at the time, towards specific people and shit like that. Um, and that was really the start of it. That was the start of it, and that shit really just was really just one after another. As soon as I had two, that's really when I started like the whole idea. And really, I didn't really have for my other previous projects. I have one album called Karanji. They're out now, by the way. Um, and with that, it was really just songs that I made, just with my friends, just with the homies at the time, just having fun and whatnot. And then the songs that were personal to me, I made by myself. Whatever, 12 p.m., 12 a.m., just working on them. But this is really the first time I sat down and I was like, man, I could really like create like kind of like a world or like a realm of some sorts, just so like when people go into listening to this, it's like there's a certain vibe to it, certain, I guess aesthetic you could say, a certain, cadence,
Certain mood.
feel, certain move, yeah. But that's really where it started.
Okay, so then boom, you get the first two songs.
Yeah.
When do you know like this is becoming a project? This is when I want to make this the album, and
Yeah.
sonically, where did you take it this time?
Yeah. I think this time around,
Cause you do
after
you do the beats, right?
yeah, do the beats, yeah,
Okay,
produce
so
the
what
beats.
is like the actual creative process of making a song like for you? Like you start with the lyrics first, the beats.
Yeah.
Like take us through that too.
That varies, but I believe the kind of approach that I really take, 80% of the time is 80% of the time is when I usually write down the lyrics. Like I'll be, writing lyrics all the time, wherever you go, whenever you have free time and shit like that. Whether, I'm going on a walk, to the park and shit. I got a trail right next to my house. So I, just walk every single day, just with thought and just, with just, certain things that happen. So I just, kind of think it out and whatnot. And with that comes, the lyrics of what I feel at the time. And, I really like starting out with the lyrics first because it, brings me closer to what I really want, like in the beat. And I mean, like I said, it varies, because sometimes I just be making beats and I just be writing, writing to them. But it really starts with the concept, or even like, fuck, I be like listening to like all types of music, especially with this album, the making of it. I was listening to a lot of oldies, so a lot of oldies inspired, basically all the songs that are on here. So
What kind of era of oldies? Like some 80s, some 70s,
shit,
some
I would say
60s, some
some.
soul, some R&B, some funk.
Yeah, I would say some early 70s, specifically like Ralphie Vagan,
Okay.
the Delphonics,
Mhm.
the Dramatics, that real that heartbreak shit, that lovey dovey shit, where there was, just saying, please come back, like don't leave me, that type of shit. It was, and it was, plus it was really slow. And there was, with those songs too, those songs had hella atmosphere and shit. Those songs had like you listen to that song, like you listen to a song like there's a song, Blue Magic is influenced by this band or this soul band called it's called Blue Magic, and they have this song called Spell. And that song, that's, man, you listen to that song's like a fucking atmosphere. You listen to it in headphones, it's a whole atmosphere. It's like you're getting sucked into a realm. It's just like this, whatever the fuck it is, just this love, radiance, that's just playing. That's really what I wanted with this whole album, was just, that type of feeling. And having that approach really helped, with everything going on. But overall, I would say, for this project, the lyrics came first, and then just the ideas and the concepts, and I try to execute it with those ideas that I had in my head with the lyrics.
Okay, so speak on your writing process, because I classify you in the rappers box, where it's like,
Yeah.
you're really paying attention to your syllables, your
Mhm.
metaphors, your rhyme schemes, how you're
Yeah.
matching up every 4 bars and stuff, and
Mhm.
really putting some lyrical substance in there.
Mhm.
So what is like, speak on how serious you take that, and how you've progressed through the years, and what that looks like, just getting better and better, and
Mhm.
how serious you take the writing side.
Yeah. Um I would say when I first started out, I first started out back, I would say sophomore high school. Because I was writing previously too. I was writing in like 6th grade. I was, the top rapper at the time, like J. Cole, whatnot. I think I was listening to a lot of Forest Hill Drive
Wait, how old are
2014.
you?
20.
You're 20. So what?
Yeah.
You were like, this was like, you
This
said
is
sophomore
maybe,
year.
yeah, sophomore year in high school. So this was like 2021, I would say, 2021,
Okay.
2022.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, and so when I was a sophomore, I was taking the writing, but I was trying to be that. I was trying to be that rapper's like rapper, like,
Mm.
just listening to a lot of rock, a lot of Rock Marciano, listening to a lot of Griselda. Griselda was hella pop. That was like the time where they was like
They was
hella
like,
popping,
yeah, yeah.
and everybody was discovering them and finding out about them. Conway, West Side Gun,
Mm.
Benny the Butcher and whatnot. So, like that rapper where you rap over boom bap beats,
Yeah,
started
yeah.
coming back and whatnot. But started dabbling into that. Um, but the shit was that I wasn't talking about nothing. I was, you know what I mean? Like I would, rap and I would rhyme and shit, but I would look at it back and I'm like, well, like what am I rapping about? I was just trying to fucking spit some shit that,
Yeah. Just trying to make words
yeah,
rhyme
just
and
trying to
make
make
it. Yeah.
words rhyme and shit. So that was a deal with that. But then, as time went on, my senior year, I think that's kind of where I kind of honed everything. I kind of, just honed that craft, everything, time with time, you could build skill. And so, that's what it was, I just needed time to build that skill onto, pinpoint what I really wanted to talk about in, records that I released. And then I released I think when I released Karanji, um back October 2024, that's like when I kind of knew that, oh man, like I can rap like this, and I can, do this shit, the right way, where like I had this song called Blind Man, that's the third track off of that album, and that's just one of my best written songs like to date. And with that writing process, that was just me, pure feeling in the moment. I wrote that shit on a fucking school bus. Like that shit was like crazy, crazy to me, because the thing was with that type of song, I didn't have to think, double guess myself, or just be like, like, nah, this don't, like, it was, flow, motherfucker. I was like in a flow state basically. I was writing line after line,
Effortless. Like it
effort.
just came second
It just
nature.
came second nature to me. And I think that's when I just realized that it will come to me, when the time is right, with a certain songs, pop up, certain songs with certain messages that I want to make. It will just come to me. I don't have to force it, or I don't have to
Search
just
for it. It'll find
search for it.
you.
It
Yeah.
will find me. And when the time is right, I always say now, my uncle's always, it's on God's timing. He always say that. It's
Mm.
on God's time. It's not on your timing. Your timing might be way off. And then when that time when you least expect it come, then that shit would arrive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
not especially like I think a big thing in making music and being an artist is just showing up, putting in the work, and like you said, like when you know you have something,
Mm,
it'll come to you. Like you don't got to sit there and overthink, and
yeah.
you're not gonna get stuck. It's just gonna write itself. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like a girl. You know, she gonna find you.
Yeah.
You don't
One
got to
hundred
go out
percent.
there and search her. You know.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay, so speak on Karanji,
Mm.
the album before this album.
Mm.
How did that body of work come, and what was that like?
Karanji, it came. I believe I started the first song. It was late 2023. It was about we were coming into the new year 2024, and so that whole project was just gonna be, it was gonna be 3 songs, and it was inspired by just really just like drumless loops, and like I wanted the intro was something totally different than what it was now. Now the intro is Eve's Family, but the original intro was supposed to be on some like real drumless like soul sample that was like, it was hella dramatic and shit like that. I was just gonna like be rapping my ass off, boom boom boom. And so that was really gonna be the whole concept, was just those 3 songs of just me rapping over drumless loops and whatnot. But then it became into something, more, because I had the album cover. Album cover is the supermodel named Gia Karanji. I had the album cover way before, all this, any song was
Oh
made
wait,
for
you
the
don't know
album.
her,
I don't know the motherfucker.
dude? I thought that was like your mom or something.
Nah,
I was
nah, nah,
like,
nah, nah.
bruh. Wait, what made you pick her?
Nah, that's yeah. So
Like you
I
just always
picked.
thought she was hot or what?
Nah, nah. Well,
Uh,
she was good looking, but like the reason why I picked her was because of her backstory and shit. Like she was a supermodel in the '80s.
mm,
Um, and her story's like hella, it's hella sad, with being in Hollywood and shit, just being in that, famous public eye, sometimes, people don't, in that realm, people don't view you as human and shit.
mm,
And just, watching a documentary on her, just her falling into, certain addictions and, just certain vices, and, having seeing that there is people that notice that, and that can lend a hand to help her,
mm.
decided to shun her and look the other way. You know what I mean? And you know unfortunately, it was a really sad story,
Is
but
she dead?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh fuck.
yeah, she is. Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, R.I.P. You know what I mean? But that whole story was just like, man, that shit's heartbreaking. Let me put that at the album cover. You know what I mean?
Nah, yeah, for sure. That's deep. What made you go with the name Karanji? What does that mean?
That's her last name.
Oh, that's her land. Oh
Yeah, that's
yeah,
her last name,
obviously.
Gia
Oh shit.
Karanji. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's her last name, but
Okay, so then boom, you got the intro.
yeah.
You wanted to write. So then when does that boom? What's the next step into that project? When does it start
I
taking like its life?
Yeah, I think it was really around April 2024 was when I started making, like, I made this song called Elohim, and I only had the first part done because that's a 2-part song. So Elohim, that first part, I had it, wrote, recorded the lyrics. I showed it to the homie Doza. Shout out Doza, by the way. I showed it to him. Who was going crazy. It was like, oh, this is fire, whatnot. I think that's when I started gearing that production style, different on that album, because like I said, it was gonna be drumless loops and whatnot. But then I started gearing towards the trap, shit and whatnot. Cause I was always in the trap, but I'm not gonna lie, for a long time I didn't think I would be able to rap over a trap beat, because at the beginning of stages of me writing and shit like that, me rapping, it was always like boom bap shit,
Just like some straight,
soulful,
yeah, yeah,
drum
some
loop,
straight rappers
straight
shit.
rapper shit. So I didn't think I was gonna rap over, trap shit, but I, tested myself with that album. And that's how we got, songs like New Testament with Christian Hudson and Doza. Shout out those two. That's how we got Elohim. That's how we got Karanji, the self-titled song, and a lot more on there. But really around that time, April 2024, was when the whole concept came together, and I was ready to drop it that summer. But then uh actually I had Velvetone Studio, which wasn't Velvetone Studio at the time. It was called,
It's
it was
called Piece of Shit Studios. Nah.
it was I forgot what the
It was
name
called
was.
CVS Pharmacy Studios.
Shit. It was
Yeah.
called something else, but Seth hit me up, and I was hella scared because I thought that shit was a scam and shit. And it was like, oh, like come for a free one
Oh,
hour.
come for a studio. We're gonna rob you.
I
Come for a studio session.
was like, and I told my pops about it. He was like, I don't think you should go. You know, Stockton hella crazy and shit. And then I was like, I'm just gonna go by myself. It's whatever. And then I came and I met Babysit, the shout out Babysit engineer, and we got that session in, and that's how we made Julia Got a Gun interlude. So that interlude came from here Velvetone Studio, and that's really when he kind of introduced me to a lot of more folks, in Stockton and whatnot. And from there, that's when I wanted everybody featured on the motherfucker.
Mhm.
Wanted everybody featured. So I got the features who I wanted the features from because they were hella dope artists. And then that shit came out to 17 songs and released that on October 30th on Halloween.
Okay, so you're from Manteca.
I'm from Antigua, yeah,
Okay, so speak on just like growing up in Manteca. It's kind of in a rural area of
yeah. Mm,
Northern California. Not really doesn't get too much shine,
yeah,
and
yeah,
even Stockton, it's a bigger city, but it's not like a Sac or a Frisco
yeah,
or anything
100%.
like that. So,
Yeah,
what was the environment like growing up in Manteca, and
yeah,
how did that mold you?
yeah. Man, Manteca, I can't front. Manteca is smooth, like nothing really, too much goes on out there. I think, people just gotta create their own fun, whatever, people's perception of fun is. But there's really, nothing out there, especially growing up. There was really no clubs, no bars, no, if you go downtown Manteca, there's maybe like a
2020.
little, hey, you hella right, man. Shit. Hey, still though.
Nah, yeah, nah, yeah, I
There's
get what
none
you're
of
saying.
no, there's no fucking rocket jump out there. There's no
Nah,
fucking
yeah, it's not really much to do. It's just kind of just like just
yeah. Like, what do you do? You ride bikes and
you
shit.
ride bikes
All right.
and write raps
Yeah,
apparently.
ride bikes and write raps and shit. But growing up, it was cool, man. I always appreciate my childhood. That my parents gave me out there. Because all my family was born in East San Jose. And before they had me, they decided to move out there to Manteca, just for, East San Jose was getting a little bit tricky. So, moving to Manteca was the best call for all of them. And, I'm blessed with the childhood that they gave me, just filled with love, filled with family. You know what I mean? And all of them definitely, all my family members molded me to the person that I am today.
Yeah, speak on that a little more too, because especially in um a lot of your projects,
Hmm.
you talk about your family and the your childhood and just
Yeah.
growing up, and so
Yeah.
what was that environment like in the household and with your family?
Yeah.
Because I know that definitely has like a big impact on you, and like
Yeah.
you said, it molded you, and you could definitely hear it in your music. So how does
Yeah.
how you grew up and your family upbringing translate to your music? What do you
Yeah.
take from that?
Yeah. Man, my family, man, it's built off honor and respect and trust, with the people that are close to you. You don't really trust, just anybody, be respectful towards everybody, but don't, trust just anybody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just really understand that everybody goes through tribulation. Everybody goes through trial. That's one thing that my parents taught me. That everybody has their story. Everybody has what they got going on. So living in a household where I was living with my siblings. I have 5 siblings. I was living with 3 of them at the time, and then my parents. And just growing up, my pops and my mom working. My pops at one time worked 3 jobs. My mom worked 2 jobs. Going back and forth. Throughout the week from Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday. My pops used to throw the newspaper in Manteca, so he would get up 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and I would. I remember him taking me a couple times when I was real little, and he'd always take my older brother with him. But he would just go around, 2, 3 in the morning, just tossing the paper and whatnot, just tossing the paper, just for some extra money on the side. But all of that, while growing up, showed me, oh, okay, like to to be able to make it, it's all about that work, like honestly, like you know, if you take, this real life shit, like fuck all the praise that people get, all the hype that people get, all the other extra shit. Like as long as you work hard, like that work ethic, that's what really matters at the end of the day. And it's all about love in the household. My brothers and sisters, they were real, great. My grandma, my grandpa, we live, kind of close to each other, so we'd always see them all the time. It was real great. It was just a real good environment to be around in my household. And there was, some there's ups and downs, just like with everybody, with everybody else. But for the most part, they show me, what it is to, just be human. You know what I mean?
Okay, so boom, you start rapping in high school. You're part of a collective now, Miles Gratitude.
Yeah.
When did that start taking place? Like, were you out of high school and you created Miles Gratitude, right?
Yeah.
So when did that idea in your head pop up? Like, when did you start meeting the Randys and the
Mhm.
Christians and the Crays and
Yeah.
explain, give us a backstory on that.
Yeah. Well, I met Christian Hudson. I met him in seventh grade. Seventh grade. And then I met Doza in first grade. And so me and Doza, we kind of like we were friends from first, kind of cut off, and then we, you know, kind of reconnected back in seventh, around the same time that me, Christian became friends and we met. So they were always, just good friends of mine since that time. And I remember me and Dozer always used to be, talking about like, oh, like when like we gotta get like some music shit going. That motherfucker was into like Suicide Boys and shit. That motherfucker was hella emo at the time. So like he wanted to do all this shit. I'm not gonna lie. Oh shit, I'm not gonna lie. We were getting into some screamo shit at some time.
That's
We
crazy.
was getting into
I could not
screamo
hear you
shit.
say that. Some screamo shit. Like you were actually like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, that
what the
was,
fuck?
bro. We
Gotta
got
hear the unreleased.
um,
Drop the unreleased.
now we got that shit on fucking Audacity, bro. That shit was terrible.
Oh
We
shit.
got a fucking $30 I think it was called newer mic, and we just try to do some screamo shit over some fucking Scarlord beats or some shit.
That's insane.
Yeah, but we met, then, and that was elementary. Going into high school, me and Christian, we reconnected because our freshman year we weren't really talking. We reconnected in sophomore year. He was working on music at the same time I was working on music. So at that time we kind of reconnected and we was like, oh, what you been up to? Both of us said music. It was like, oh shit, we gotta come together sometime. So ever since then it's just been that, pushing that, with the and we was on boom bap shit at the time. We dropped a song called Radical Poems. That shit actually it did pretty good for the first release. I was under a rap name called Disciple. That was my original rap
What
name.
made
And
you go with that?
shit, bro, I think it was because really I was looking at like, oh shit, what can I like, what's a dope name? And my family's, really religious, I'm really religious as well. So I was just like, I think one time there's this mini series on it was on Amazon Prime. I think my uncle was watching it. It's called The Bible.
Mm.
And I think they was talking about the disciples and whatnot. And then I was like, damn, disciple, that should be a dope name. I was on some like New York shit, like peace God. Like I was on some like
Some straight like
some straight fucking
some straight fucking Wu Tang
yeah,
shit.
so
Like yeah.
yeah, some straight Wu-Tang shit. So,
So when did you pivot to Miguel Ochoa? Cause that's your real name.
yeah, Miguel Ochoa. My rap name is Angel Ochoa, but Miguel, that's my real name. Miguel Angel Pena, that's my real name.
Okay, so
It's
yeah,
my
when
government.
did you pivot to the name?
I would say I would say a year before Karanji dropped. So around 2023, I dropped a song called Cynthia. Go check that out. Cynthia out now. Came out 2023 June.
Mm.
And if you listen to that song, hella different from all the other shit I did. This shit's some fucking Frank Ocean, like soft boy, just atmospheric type of singing, that real, soft music and whatnot.
Mm.
But I was really trying to, dig into that type of production at the time. But then I, made a full switch. And then I dropped a couple other songs, called Ego Surfing, which is off Karanji. And then I dropped a song called Jezebel. And then that's when I dropped London Projects, which is, man, that was like my take on a fucking like UK drill beat. You know what I mean? Just me rapping over that. And then I dropped a couple more songs, and those were kind of, just like me getting my feet in the water. And those were all under Angel Ochoa. And then, I dropped Karanji under that name as well. And I was just like, man, that name's dope. I'm gonna go ahead and
Just
stick with
run
it.
with that.
Yeah, just go ahead and stick with it.
Okay, now take us back to the fucking Miles Gratitude loop. Got off track there.
Yeah,
So
no,
boom,
we
you were
could.
Christian.
Yeah,
Sophomore year.
Christian
Okay,
sophomore
now
year.
keeps developing the story there.
Yeah, me, Christian, those are getting together around sophomore year, and from there it was, it was really just, like any other group, trying to figure out a sound, trying to figure out, what it is. It was really us three that created my gratitude. I thought of the name. I made the name. I was, just like, I don't really know where it came from. I guess, you know, uh, I was feeling a lot of gratitude at the time, and shit, that shit
Feeling
ran.
miles of
That shit,
gratitude. I'm feeling miles of
miles
gratitude.
of gratitude.
Nine
So like,
inches,
the
not
9
feet. I'm
inches,
feeling miles of
yeah, miles of
gratitude.
gratitude. So like
Yeah.
that shit was like, and then I just, mild gratitude. It's not no, genius shit. It was just like, oh, that shit sounds pretty cool. So, we ran with that, and then but really us three were the ones that kind of came together and was like, hey, we should do something, like some, whether it be create a company, whether it be like a group, a collective, whatever. We stuck with that, and we just ran with it ever since. And then fast forward over to 2024. I would say around the summertime, same time, I was meeting everybody in Stockton and whatnot. There was like a rap community, whatever, music community out here. Um, that's when we met Crispy Cray and we met Randy. Shout out Crispy Cray and Randy. We met them both at the Hatch Workshop. So we met them. They were super cool people, super dope. Doza actually knew him first because I believe they met in Modesto somewhere at an event. And then that's when Doza got me in contact with him. And then that's when we met at the Hatch Workshop for the first time. And then same thing with Randy. Randy seen me perform. He was like, "Hey, you dope." I seen him perform. He was like, "Hey, you dope." And then ever since then, we just been, just locked in with, just making music and, trying to figure out really what our identity is and, what we stand for as a group. Because it's really more, my gratitude is really more than just music. Like we want to get into like clothing. We want to get into film. We want to get into whatever we can creatively, but whatever feels right to us. We don't just want to fucking if we want to do fucking what we want to make a movie. Like we don't just want to make a movie for the sake of making a movie. We want to make a movie because it feels right to us, and that's something that
Something that matters.
yeah, something that matters, something
Something
that has substance that we want to do.
that you could really tell a story to.
Yeah, exactly. But
Gotcha.
ever since then, we've all just been, really good friends, and like I said, my gratitude is more than that. It's also morals, ethics, the whole 9 yards. Those four are my brothers, man. Christian, Doza, Crispy Cray, Randy, all of them are my brothers, man. And we rock until the day we die.
Okay. Okay. Respectable.
Yeah,
Respectable. Now speak on, because you said you met Cray and Randy, in the scene and doing live shows and stuff.
yeah,
You threw a live show for Karanji, right? That show was for Karanji.
yeah,
The one that you
yeah.
threw.
Which one?
The one that you threw. It was like a minute. You threw a live show like.
Oh
Not,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I believe it was for that. But my point is, you've done a couple shows.
Yeah.
You got good stage presence.
Mhm.
Speak on hitting the stage and rapping live as opposed to just recording and the difference in that process where it's like, boom, I'm performing in front of a crowd
Yeah.
versus I'm recording just myself. Speak on like the difference of that.
Yeah, I think with performing in front of a crowd, it's I mean, for me, for speaking for myself, after the first I say after the first go around, we did a couple open mics, just performing 1, 2 songs. But like after the first go around, like it was like, oh shit, this is kind of cool. So we keep on going. Every whoever shows up, whether it's like 5 people, 10 people, 20 people, however many other people, it was just it just added to the excitement. So performing live, it's really fun, because you could really just be yourself like up there. Like you don't gotta be stiff. At first I thought I was hella scared, so I was like hella stiff and shit. But going, throughout the motion and just keep on performing, like I'm like fucking moving around and shit, like dancing. I never really was a dancer. I was kind of shy, when I was in elementary, when I was in high school. So when I would be, at quinceañeras and shit like that, I wasn't the motherfucker to dance. I'd just be sitting down. You know what I mean? Like fucking, just talking to my cousins or talking to whoever. I wasn't really a dancer like that. But when it's something that I love, something I'm passionate about, it unlocks that. I'm pretty sure that's with everybody. It unlocks, certain feeling. Like when you get up on stage, you just be yourself. You know, it's basically free flow.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Now, I want to go back to your influences. I know you mentioned Griselda. You were listening to them heavy. You
yeah,
know, when you're going to Disciple, you listen to J. Cole and all that.
yeah.
Now that you've grown into your artistry, who are you really listening to a lot, and how does that affect your music taste? I know you said for this project you were listening to like 70s oldies and stuff.
Hmm.
As far as like current rappers, like who do you listen to for inspiration and stuff?
Yeah. Current rappers, I think, man, I would say I got a cool 5 rappers that I really listen to on a daily
Good top
basis.
five. Good top five.
It's our 5, man. I'm gonna say number 1 Jay-Z, and
I don't
then
know. I think Jay Z's kind of overrated, to be honest.
oh, bro, come on.
I don't know.
Man, you gotta
Like
listen to
Reasonable
you
Doubt,
gotta
Reasonable Doubt
you gotta
vibes.
you gotta listen to In My Lifetime Volume 1, bro.
I don't know,
You
bro.
gotta
Like
listen to that
every
shit,
time I
bro.
listen to Jay Z, it's not that he's bad. I just think there's
Yeah.
better rappers from New York, to be honest.
You
Like
know
I'd
what?
rather
Hey,
listen
that's
to Jada
valid.
Kiss, to be honest. Like I'd rather
Oh
listen to
shit!
Prodigy.
What the fuck? Okay, Prodigy, yeah. Jada Kiss, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'd rather listen to Jada Kiss all day.
Okay, that's
I
what's
think I
up.
think he got better bars. I think he got better cadence.
All right,
For me
that's
personally,
what's
I
up. Yeah,
don't know. I don't know,
yeah, yeah.
but
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, hey, look, I've always was like enamored with Jay Z's, just like whole style and shit. Just like the way that he raps. I think the way that he raps is
who do you
fucking
think's
crazy.
better, Jay Z or Nas? Because to me, I'd rather take Nas. Like honestly,
I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna say lyrically Nas, but like overall, like beat, like tone, just
I don't
whole
know.
style. I'm gonna say Jay Z, but you can't, bro.
Okay,
Nas.
Jay
I'm
Z
gonna
does
say,
have better beats. Jay Z does have
yeah.
better
I'm gonna say
beats.
Nas. I'm gonna say Nas like is like 10 times better than Jay Z
Okay,
lyrically.
Big L or Jay Z?
Big L,
Okay, Biggie or Jay Z?
Jay Z.
Really over
Yeah,
Biggie?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna say,
Continue with your top five. Continue with your top
yeah.
five.
I'm
So
gonna say,
Jay-Z.
yeah. I'm gonna say Jay Z. I'm gonna say Jay Z, and then I'm gonna say Ka.
Okay.
Ka,
Okay.
man,
Ka or
Ka.
Jay Z?
I'm not gonna lie.
I just say
I'm not
Jay Z
gonna.
because
I'm gonna have to say Jay Z.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Ka's respectable though. Ka's real
Ka, no,
respectable.
yeah, Ka really, because I think Ka is like really like what I like. You listen to music like on a daily basis, but like when Ka's really like you listen in on like what he's saying, and sometimes I be forgetting the beat is there. I'm just listening to what he's saying.
Like he's got the most purest raps. Like the most
Oh yeah,
like rap in its purest form. Like if it
yeah,
was like chemically like if it was fucking what's that show Breaking Bad
yeah,
and then Heisenberg's like this is 99%
yeah.
chemically pure.
No,
That would
100.
be Ka's raps.
No, 100%. That's
Like
that's called to the full. Like, bro, Descendants of Cain. That fucking whole album is crazy. I listen to that shit front to back like almost every single day, bro. That
nah, the one fuck I don't know the album name, but Orpheus or some shit. The one on that one.
oh,
That one's fire.
yeah, I
That
know
one's
what you're talking
fire.
about. That one is crazy too.
Yeah, he's just a pure rapper
And he's
in its form. Okay, so
mhm.
Jay Z, Ka, give
we
us the
have
other three.
we have Jay Z, Car, um, and then Makami.
Okay,
I'm gonna say Makami respectfully for his lyrical ability. And plus, I'm not gonna lie, that
he'll
motherfucker.
flip you.
Oh no, that
No, he'll
motherfucker!
flip
No,
you.
that motherfucker!
No,
Yeah,
he's
that
gonna flip you like a
motherfucker!
turntable.
That
Like,
motherfucker flip me. Yeah, that motherfucker will flip me for sure.
no.
No, but like that motherfucker. I can't lie. That motherfucker weird, bro, but in a good way.
Yeah,
Like
he's
sometimes,
Haitian. He's Haitian.
nah, he's Haitian.
He's
Bro.
real
Yeah, but
Haitian.
he's real Haitian, man. Nah, but he's cool, man. He makes rapping interesting.
Nah,
He
yeah.
makes rapping interesting for
He's
sure.
just got crazy like metaphors, crazy, and just like the pockets he be in, like
Yeah,
he's like on beat, but he's really not.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't really care where the beat's at. I'm just gonna
Yeah, he's
flow
just
to my
going.
own pace. To be
Yeah,
honest,
exactly. Like
like
his beat selection too. Like if you listen to Haitian Body Odor, the very first song, that beat so crazy. I can't pronounce the name of the intro, but that beat is fucking crazy. But some of the beats he be picking is like way avant garde, but it
yeah,
sound good
like
though.
super experimental, but
Yeah,
like
super
it makes
experiment.
sense when he hops on it.
Oh
But when
yeah,
you hop
100.
on it, it don't make sense. But
Oh yeah,
only
100%.
Makami can hop on it. To be
No,
honest.
100%.
All right.
That's how it is with him,
All right,
man.
give me the final two. Give me the
So
final
the
two.
final two, I'm gonna have to say Kendrick Lamar,
Mhm.
because he's an influence all around. Like if you were to look at fashion, if you were to look at um you, on that GNX tour, a lot of the shit that he was wearing, that shit was crazy. I know he got some what do they call them, like where they put the fit on motherfuckers.
Costume. Oh,
Fashion
fucking
motherfucker.
fashion designer or
Like
stylist.
yeah, stylist,
There you go.
stylist. There you go, stylist. I know he got stylists and shit, but some of his fits on that tour were hard, and just fashion, but also musically, just lyrics and production. He got a set of producers, and just overall, like just how he sculpts his sound. With the people that he's around is it's flawless. It's
How'd you feel about
effortless.
his last two projects?
GNX and
And
Mr. Morale.
yeah, because to me,
G
Kendrick was one of my favorite rappers, but these
yeah.
last two,
Last two,
I'm
you
not really
wasn't fucking
too.
with him. You was
I
digging him.
wasn't really fucking. With him,
Nah.
to be honest, nah.
Shit. I'm not gonna lie. I fuck with. See, the thing is, GNX. I was, when it came out, I was fucking with GNX. Like I was listening to that shit like all the time, bumping it. But over time, it's not.
It
I
doesn't have
wouldn't
that
say.
same replay value.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same replay. But over
It's not
time,
like
it's
I'm
just
like
like.
play that Lefty Gunplay song.
Yeah, yeah,
Definitely not
exactly.
saying that.
Like, I don't want to hear fucking spooky, scary, hilarious.
Like it
fucking-
was cool for the moment. It
Oh yeah,
definitely was,
100%.
but like we're like a year into it, and I'm like,
Yeah,
skip.
yeah.
Skip.
No, that's 100. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like those two projects to me
but
don't even
I-
touch.
I can't
Kid Mad City.
I can't front though. Miss Morale, I do like Miss Morale.
You think it's better than Good Kid, Mad City?
Oh hell no, no, I don't think. I think To Pimp a Butterfly is better than Good Kid, Mad City.
I mean, you could have a debate there, but to me, I just like
You
the
you
whole
pick it,
the whole concept and how everything flows from track
Yeah.
one to the last track, and it really tells a story. And
Yeah,
even I think the production to Pimp a Butterfly was more like P-Funk, more like
yeah,
real West Coast, like,
yeah,
and Good Kid, Mad City was too, but I feel like it had like harder beats, a little more trappy, and
yeah,
I think
100%.
even today, like what it came out like 2012, 20, it's like
Yeah.
14 years later, like
Yeah.
you could still play it and it fits seamlessly.
Oh yeah,
into
100%.
like anything you could play today. It's
Yeah.
like a real timeless record. Not to say To Pimp a Butterfly's not, but
Yeah.
I think that those still have more like radio hits where you could just be like, "Bitch,
Yeah.
don't kill my vibe."
Yeah,
Or I
100%.
could play like any of those joints, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. Man, I think. Hey, I can't front. I think my favorite song off of Good Kid, Mad City has to be Good Kid.
Yeah, that was fire.
That
That's
was
the one Pharrell did?
crazy. Yeah, that's the one
Yeah.
Pharrell did. That
Yeah,
was
that was cool.
crazy, bro. I can't even lie.
That was a good one.
Yeah, and then off To Pimp a Butterfly, bro. I say my favorite song is Institutionalized.
That was good. That was
Yeah,
good.
that was a cool one. That was a cool one.
I like the one where it's like, "This dick
Yeah,
ain't
it's the motherfucking
free."
free.
That one's hella funny.
That was crazy.
Nah, but even the interludes on those like that, I feel like that's where his artistry really shines on that album.
Mhm.
Where it's like he's got Tupac talking. On
Oh
the
yeah,
fucking-
100%.
And then he's got the interlude where he's like crying. What is it, you or some shit?
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
you.
Yeah. Those are some good ones. The
Yeah,
artistry
yeah.
on that album really shines through too.
No, yeah,
For sure,
100%. I would say, just a little fact. I was in Mexico 2019. Hello, random. I was there for my cousin's marriage. She got married. Man, I was bumping that album like through my headphones all throughout Mexico, bro. I think that's probably why it has I have gravitate more towards that
Got
album.
more sentimental value.
Yeah, it got more sentimental value to that shit, because it was crazy. I was like, wow, this shit is crazy. Listening to front and back, and then Tupac, coming in at the very end, Mortal Man and that build up and shit like that. I think that's why.
Nah, that shit was hard.
But my last one would probably have to be
Christian Hudson.
Christian Hudson of My Gratitude. Nah, he's a dope. He gonna be up there. He gonna be up there though. You can't front. But I would probably have to say my final rapper would probably have to be. I'm gonna go between two. I'm gonna say either damn, I had his face. What the fuck's his face? Fucking
Ghostface.
No.
New York, L.A.
Nah, it was what the fuck is his name?
Fat, skinny. Give me some clues.
Was
here.
he fat?
Give me some clues.
I think
here.
he low key. I think he lost weight.
Give me a song name.
What the
Give me a song
fuck?
title.
It's fucking fuck, bro. We gonna have to come back to this shit.
EBKJ,
I
bro,
can't.
knew it.
I
EBKJ,
can't. Yo, that shit's crazy.
All right, when you get his name,
yeah,
come
we're
back
gonna.
to it.
We'll come back
But
to it. when I get
speak
his name.
on being Mexican too, and how that definitely plays like into your artistry and your music too, because you could definitely see, especially in the imagery and the visuals, how the Chicano culture really is influenced in there, and even in your subject matter,
Yeah.
the things you're touching on is like Mexicans understand what you're saying,
Yeah,
especially
yeah,
like someone
100%.
from California.
Yeah,
So
100%.
like talk about who could be your demographic,
Mhm.
especially with your subject matter, and yeah,
Mhm.
just talk about growing up as a Mexican kid in California too.
Yeah. Yeah, bro, being Mexican is dope, man. I fuck with it. You know, like, man, all in all, bro, I use Chicano that Chicano culture, it was, it was very prevalent as a kid. I thought it was in the, like, when you're a kid, growing up in the environments that you grow up
In the
in,
barrio, fool.
in the
In the
in
barrio.
the barrio, bro, like, nah. Just growing up, man, just you have that the influence, but it's not even, bro, you don't even, it's not influence, bro. That's literally what
Just
your family is.
yeah,
That,
yeah.
it's not even fucking influence, at that point. So at the time I was like, oh, bro, everybody bumping this shit. Everybody bumping this fucking Chicano music. Everybody bumping, whatever. And everybody wearing this shit. Everybody, that's what I thought at the time. But then, you go outside and you go to school, like, oh shit, that motherfucker got like Nike shorts on. What the fuck? Or like that motherfucker has a polo.
Yeah.
But at the time, just growing up with all that, my pops, being, big on the Chicano culture and whatnot, they just, just naturally played into my music. And, I wanted it to play into my music because, that's really, who we are, and what we come from as Mexican American. And like, for example, in the Blue Magic teaser that I posted on Instagram, go check that out, by the way. In that, I was wearing, I'm gonna be real. Hey, that outfit that I put on, it was supposed to pay homage to the Chicano culture, with the Stacey Adams on, with the slacks, with the white t-shirt tucked in, you know what I mean? Just all that with the cross, on my around my neck. Just all that. It's super simple, but it's just, just a little, homage to, the Chicano culture, and, like, what we are, where we come from, and whatnot, how we dress.
Yeah.
But this it's more gonna be more prevalent, as the album, or not the album, the project rolls out more. Like, I have a song there called Scuffed Up Stacey Adams. That's basically, like, any kid, any Mexican American kid, anybody, that's in that, Chicano realm, and just a part of that, environment, wherever you're from, it's always like, Stacey Adams. Stacey Adams are the shoes that you go out in. You go partying. You go, whether to weddings, to get-togethers. Those are the shoes, and you gotta make sure that they're not scuffed up. But that whole concept was me scuffing them up because I'm over here. I'm jumping fences. I'm trying to jump. And I'm running. I'm running. But that whole concept is basically just me running, but I'm running from my problems. I'm running from, these negatives that I have in my life, and meanwhile, while I'm, running from them, I'm getting all these shoes scuffed up. It's kind of ironic, what I mean? I was talking to my dad about it. He's like, why are you calling this song Scuffed Up Stacey Adams? I had to explain to him the whole, meaning behind it. And he was like, oh, that shit is dope. And I was like, yeah. But yeah, Chicano culture, man, heavy, 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 within my music.
Okay, speak about too, cause I feel like in the Mexican American culture, especially in hip hop, bruh, everyone like makes a little caricature where it's like they don't really take the art too serious, and
Mhm.
it's like, oh, we just wear dickies, fool, and
Yeah.
lean like a cholo, and
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
slick back, and I'm
yeah.
sleepy and shit, and it's like, as opposed to where it's like, no, like I'm not a fucking caricature, like this is really
Yeah.
the culture, is really how it is.
Yeah.
What's the next evolution and the next step you think to where it's like this isn't just what people think it is,
Yeah.
it's not just in this box. How do you think you could elevate it and get out of that box? Like, what do you
Yeah.
think you could bring to the mass audience?
Mhm. I think it's really just through the authenticity, because at the same time, just because you're Chicano doesn't mean you gotta wear fucking dickies. You know what I mean? Like what you just said, you don't gotta wear dick. You don't gotta wear any, really, like any of this shit. That shit's just, it's just been passed down from generation to generation. That's how, just, people dress, and the way that it's came to be. But in reality, being Chicano is not like how you dress. What the fuck does motherfucker say? That motherfucker Miklo, what he say? He said,
It's
it's not.
some shit about it's
It's
white
en your,
skin is
it's en your
white.
corazón,
Yeah,
like,
some shit
what I
like
mean?
that.
You know what I mean? But that's true though. Like,
But then he got his leg cut off.
hey, for real.
Nah,
But
for real.
hey, but no, it's really just about being your true, authentic self. Like, just realizing where you come from. You know, realizing you are Mexican American, and you proud to be that shit. But really, all it is like how you feel inside, and like like I said, realizing where you come from. And just being your true authentic self. Like, you don't gotta, push a certain image for nobody. You don't gotta push a certain whether it is, like you don't gotta push a certain narrative to just to fit. You feel like to fit in into this, whether it is Chicano realm or Chicano culture, thing. You just be your authentic self and just realize where you come from. I think with that, and really just like, for example, with me pushing that into the art and really just having that influences, because I like certain shit, aside from from the Chicano culture. I dabble into other cultures as well, even the whole culture in Mexico and whatnot, all that shit. I dabble into that, and dabbling into that, you find out different shit, and you just mix it all together. You realize where you come from, and you just use that to push your art and to really elevate the art. You know what I mean? I think at the end of the day, the culture and really just the whole thing behind it should be used to just elevate life and just to elevate art, elevate one another. You know what I mean? But I believe that that's how, for me specifically, how we should take the approach to really pushing the culture forward with that.
Okay. Before we get up out of here,
Yeah,
just remind them what you got coming out. Remind them what they should be on the lookout for.
yeah,
New project. Just
yeah.
let them know.
For sure. So we got De La Toscana coming out January 27th. By the time this comes out, it's already gonna be out. So make sure to go bump that. Apple Music, Spotify, anywhere you could get your hands on. You could go ahead and bump that. Fully produced, written, recorded by me. All in my garage room, 6 songs. Um, Featuring Crispy Cray on Blue Magic, the second song, and then featuring Mundo on the last song, the 6th song, Scuffed Up Stacey Adams. Hey, look, I can't even front. If y'all listen to any song, if y'all got any song to pick from, I would say do the second part of Scuffed Up Stacey Adams, because that song is 8 minutes and 30 seconds long. Do the second part. If you listen to the whole second part, I love you. That is one of my favorite parts that I've ever done. Like, just all in music, like just that whole realm and that whole atmosphere that was put together by me. That that one of my favorite moments, that I have in music. But make sure to go check that album out. Make sure to go check out Crispy Cray, Randy. Make sure to go check out Christian Hussey. And those are all Apple Music, and on any other platform, Instagram, Spotify, anything you can think of. Shout out my gratitude. Shout out my whole entire family. Shout out my pop. Shout out my uncle. What else? I think that should be it. Yeah, that should be it.
Okay, the other camera died, so I'm just gonna say it right here. All right, we up out of here. Go listen to the new album.
Yup.
Miguel Ochoa or Angel Ochoa. We up out of here.
We
Good
about to
episode of TinoTalks.
for sure.